Well, hello, you survived another one. Good for you. Russ Gibb jumping up and down. And went about 3 or 4 weeks until March, and then maybe, we get into April and it's spring. Thank goodness for that. They've had enough snow. Well, we haven't had a lot, but I've had enough for me. Anyway, if you're wondering what I've been jumping up and down about the last few days, it's polling. I can't believe these polls. They go all over the map. And of course, the interesting thing about polls is that you can pay to have a poll to show anything you want. And the way you construct the polls and who you call will determine the outcome of the question that you ask. So polls aren't very reliable. In fact, I was looking up today, and three polls, count them, three polls from Texas. Two of them had Mrs. Clinton winning, and one of them had Obama winning. You The other thing they're doing with polls that are driving me crazy, you get some of these, there's one that's just done by financial guys, and they take bets on who they think is going to win it. And they present that as a poll. And then the other one is they have one now where they look at all the polls and they put them all together, and then they tell you to come up with who the winner is. Now, polls are interesting because they can either keep people away from the polls, from voting rather, or to bring them in. Many times, if they show a winner, a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to vote. My guy's going to win. I see all the polls. Don't trust the polls. Now, I taught media for over 44 years. I'll tell you, I've been involved in media. Telephone talk, television, cable, blogging, you name it. I don't trust anything. In fact, I don't even trust the media. The media reads the media. That's something you ought to remember. They're like a bunch of hounds after a fox. When somebody says something, then they all run after it and try and make that the news. They don't say, well, Clinton won big or Obama won big. They say really big. And the minute they put really in there, they're editorializing, because what is big or what's small? I actually feel sorry for Mrs. Clinton. I'm no fan of Mrs. Clinton. But I'll tell you, I feel sorry for the way that the media has been sort of making a halo around Obama, trying to make him the angel of everything. And I do say this, that his people on press are much better than Clinton's, because they put out press releases constantly saying he did this or he did that or so forth and so on. Of course, you really don't know much about Obama. Think about it. What do you know about him? Now, I have several things that makes me wonder about his story. Well, now the big story that they really haven't examined is his dealings with the slumlord, the Arab American Resco, and over $100 million. For over 17 years, our young friend Obama has been dealing with this guy, and there's lots and lots of questions on the deals. In fact, the guy's under indictment in a federal court for stealing and fraud and so forth and so on. And yet he was practically the guy that got him into the Senate, Resco. And now Obama says, well, I've made some mistakes and I didn't know. Do you know that Obama at one time was an ACORN lawyer? Now, you know what an ACORN lawyer is? That's a community activist lawyer. They come out of college, they don't have a job, and when the Democrats were in power, and the biggest contributors to Democrats are lawyers. Obama's a lawyer, remember that. That ought to make you nervous. And the bottom line was that these guys, ACORN, were sent all over the world, all over the Americas, I should say, United States, to take care of the poor victims of our terrible society, our terrible American society. And these people can't afford lawyers, therefore we want to give them a lawyer, an ACORN lawyer. And you and I were paying for these lawyers, Obama was one of them, to come and sue us, the American public. In other words, what a deal that is. What a deal that is. Well, there's a lot going on with the deals that he had there. And when you talk about Resco, there's even one that his wife, Michelle, made a comment about, said was boneheaded. They buy $1.5 million house in Chicago, and Resco's wife buys the lot next door, and then they sell it for a real low price to him. Talk about favors. I get a kick out of people that write me and say, oh, he's a new thing, he's hope, he's change. Look at all the boys behind him. The boys behind him, the top group is all white folks. And they're all old-line lefty liberals that are running. He's the most left-leaning guy we've had in Congress in a long time, Obama. So, you know, the media is sort of, oh, he's great. The young people say, oh, he's marvelous, he's a new chance. What has he said that he's going to do? He said all kinds of things about hope and change, but specifically, what is he going to do? Very, very hard to find out. Well, I did get a kick out of when his wife said that his real estate deal, and I think he did too, that it was boneheaded. And then he excused himself, his media boys excused himself by saying, well, he didn't know, he had other things. There's a lot more to that story, and if the media had been digging in, you wouldn't see Obama doing as well as he is. Now, he's a great speaker, and he has charisma. You know, there's no question about it. He's a charismatic guy. And a lot of people just fall for that. You know, we're a television generation. We like our newscasters to look good and our news ladies and, you know. Oh, God, give me a break. Give me a break. I'm sorry. I'm not, maybe I'm the one that's boneheaded. I guess you would agree on that. The other thing is about his wife, Michelle. Now, she's an educated lady. Now, I haven't been able to determine if she graduated from Harvard or Yale. Now, we're told that she attended. Now, there's a, you know, you got to watch the subtle ways words are spun in the media. A lot of people attend Harvard and Yale and aren't graduates of Harvard and Yale. They have all kinds of programs for teachers and for businessmen and so forth. And so you can say, yes, I attended Yale, I attended Harvard. Doesn't mean you graduate. Now, I understand, my understanding, she is a lawyer and she did graduate from one of the schools. But then when I read that she got this about $250,000 a year job at some big hospital in Chicago, pardon me, and they said, well, it was because of her abilities. Well, it so happened she got it right after her husband became a senator. Oh, you don't think the boys take care of the boys? And in Chicago? Chicago, the home of the machine? Oh, listen, doing favors in Chicago is a way of business. Of course, it's many other cities, too. It looks like that in Detroit and New York and L.A. Come on, the boys take care of the boys. The other thing that I get worried about Obama is that church of his. You know, I read that chapter in his book where he converted to Christianity. He evidently was an atheist. Some people think he was an Islamic Muslim. I don't know that. But he doesn't say he was baptized in that church. He said he walks down the aisle. Now, I'm no Bible thumper. You know, the last time I was in a church or somebody got married and I was there, but you know, I don't attend. I'm one of those, I guess I'm a little bit like Jefferson. Of course, Jefferson was an atheist. I don't know if I'm an atheist, but all I know is that when you walk down the aisle in most churches and Christian churches, you have to be baptized. I never read anything in that. Of course, you know, he didn't write those books. Everybody in Washington, every guy that runs has a book published under his name, but they have a ghostwriter, and if you're a ghostwriter, you sign that you will never tell that you wrote the book. How dumb do they think we are? Well, the media thinks we're really dumb. So, and that church of his, you know, they talk about being Afrocentric. That's how the media handles it. Now, if a white church said that the things in the context of being white, what were said in that church, what is it, Trinity Church of Christ in Chicago, a very beautiful church, by the way, and it looks like very active. And of course, he became active in the church when he wanted to run for Congress. He's not the first guy to get religion when it came to becoming a politician, but Obama, you know, when I read that about that church and they say, well, it's Afrocentric, go look it up yourself and read it. If a white church said that, they would be called racist. Racist, pure and simple, racist. But here our liberal media friends, you know, they want to say it's Afrocentric, so it's okay. Now look, I can't question. He may be a very devout Christian. He may be, you know, got religion. That's fine. All I know that I don't think our media is doing a very good job of vetting Obama, nor, well, any of them. And now you want to ask me, you know, where are you on the political scene? I don't like any of the candidates. You want to know the truth? I'm not a Republican or a Democrat anymore. I've given up. Somebody asked me who I'd vote for. I guess I said Attila the Hun. So that's all. Look, there's my little clock going off. It's time to say, for those of you who watch, thank you. For those time to write me or email me, I want to say thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for just being you. Russ Gibb at random.